Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be talking about the upcoming snowfall potential, especially two upcoming potential snowstorms coming up in the near future. Anyways, before I get into this video, be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more weather-related content. For today's comment of the day, I want to know, do you think that either of these snowstorms will indeed happen? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Now, I would like to mention that we made some of our first posts on some of those regional Facebook pages that I talked about before. I'm going to leave a link in the description and in the pinned comment down below to our Direct Weather Mid-Atlantic page, where there's already been a couple of posts made by our awesome team members. Go check that out today if you are in that region. But also, I made a Patreon post today and yesterday, actually, but today about those two snowstorms. I went a little bit more in depth about the potential snowstorms and also the potential cooldowns in the near future. So let's just get straight into things. First things first, I just wanted to point out that this is what the European model is showing on Wednesday afternoon. Not really anything to speak of. We can see there's a storm system down there in the southeast and a bit of one up there for the north where there's plenty of cold, maybe some snow showers. But these are two completely separate storms at this point. However, on our GFS model, we have the same frame, right around the same time frame, except these two storms become one and become a nor'easter offshore of the northeast, and this becomes a very major winter storm for the northeastern and the Ohio Valley of the United States. We see cities like Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. We see areas like Buffalo, New York getting involved here, Boston, potentially New York City, with some freezing rain in there. So definitely some larger areas being included here in a very, very major storm, if the GFS is correct. And we're only 100 hours out. We're seeing major, major disagreement here according to these two top models. And that is something to be concerned about at this point, for sure. Now, let's just move all the way back to around now, or tonight. Basically, this is about 11 p.m. We can see a clipper system moving through Montana and North Dakota. We also see some snowfall out there for Washington State, Idaho. That's going to be happening frequently throughout the entire winter, by the way. Very, very common weather. Nothing extreme about it because it's your everyday weather. Now, we can see that by time we're reaching about Monday morning, I would say this is about 11 a.m. on Monday, December 6th, it's evident there is a very strong cold front here. Texas all the way up through Ohio, you just follow that green, you can see the cold front, and there's plenty of cold behind that and some snowfall. But let's take a look at those temperatures, and you can physically see this. Yellows and oranges are going to be your 60s and 70s, and then your light blues and reds are going to be your 30s and 20s. So you can see that, probably there's about 300 miles between the 20s and 30s and the 60s and 70s, which, considering the difference there, that's not a huge distance between those two air masses. A fairly strong cold front at this point. It could be some thunderstorms associated with it because of how strong it is. We're going to need to watch for that very closely. But clearly there's some sort of storminess along the entire thing. We can see by the time we're reaching about 8 p.m. here on Monday, December 2nd, or sorry, December 6th, better get. We can see this one is reaching the eastern seaboard around this point, again, 8 p.m. on Monday, better yet. And this is right around, again, the kickoff of that Patriots-Bills game, and there would be some snowfall taking place as that cold front has just passed through. Regardless, very nasty weather, but that does continue on throughout the entirety of the game, potentially bringing maybe even 2 to 6 inches of snowfall there that night. So it is kind of looking possible that there's a pretty major snow situation for that Monday night football game. Very, very interesting. Now, by the time we reach about 6 a.m. on Wednesday, December 8th, we can see that there's plenty of storminess here in the eastern United States and the northwestern United States, for that matter. We're seeing consistent storminess out there pretty much throughout the entire model run. Again, very typical. We do see a strong storm in the southeast and then a very weak storm in the northern United States here, northeastern corner of the United States. And this is that storm that just does not meet up like it does on the GFS model. And even previous runs on our European model, this storm did come together. It's just this one, it's really broken apart. And that's why our confidence has not been super high on this particular storm, because we've seen the models really disagreeing and really changing their minds a lot so far this year, which is usually not a good thing for, for forecasting at all. We could see that eventually, by the time we reach about 2 a.m. here on Thursday, December 9th, we could see that this storm does become a very, very minor nor'easter, bringing some light to moderate snow showers for New England here at the very end, but nothing like what the GFS model is showing, which let's move on to it. Here's by the time we're reaching about 11 p.m. on Tuesday. We can see this storm is a little closer together already, these two storms, and they meet up by Wednesday afternoon, December 8th. We can see moderate to heavy snowfall from Illinois through Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, and then New England as well. Even New York City seeing snowfall by that point. Later on that evening, 8 p.m., this is going to be, again, Wednesday, December 8th. And as we can see, heavy snowfall still for Ohio, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York, and then New England still. And even by 2 a.m., it's the same story. Things are getting even heavier by this point, especially for the Maine coast, though. We can see a 990 millibar low pressure center nor'easter by this point. Heavy snowfall from Pennsylvania, again, up through New York and New England still. And this eventually is finally starting to move out by 2 p.m. on Thursday, December 9th, still bringing moderate to heavy snowfall for eastern Maine. Let's talk about how huge of a difference this would be between these two models if this storm was to occur. European model here, we could see, again, those lake effect areas that, again, is going to be happening during that Monday night game. We could see the blues and the purples off of Lake Erie in general, and that is mostly from that lake effect event. But generally, not a ton of snowfall at all. Generally, 2 to 6 inches of snowfall for most everywhere in the northeastern United States. However, the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes does seem to get quite a bit there, with purples and pinks showing up, which is our 6 to 10 and our 10 to 20 inch regions individually there. GFS model here. Now, this is if the storm comes together. Look at the huge difference here. We see anywhere from a dusting, if anything, in the grays. The blues here, 2 to 6 inches of snowfall for plenty of Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia, and surrounding regions. And then the purples is going to be 6 to 10, and we see a huge region of at least 6 to 10. We see the pinks is going to be 10 to 20, so we see that for northern Pennsylvania, a lot of New York, a lot of Massachusetts, and then the entirety of Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. And then we even see those pastels showing up for the Green Mountains, the Adirondacks, and then coastal and southern regions of Maine, which is going to be your 20 to 30 inch regions or even more, because we see a maximum of 36 inches of snowfall somewhere on the coastal regions of Maine there. Absolutely, I mean, huge amounts of snowfall according to the GFS model, and that's the difference between the two, and it is a huge difference, and we're not too far out like I mentioned. Now, going back to our European model, we have another storm developing by the time we're reaching 2 p.m. on December 10th here over Colorado. We could see heavy snowfall for the southern Rockies. This eventually becomes a storm that becomes a 996 millibar low pressure center over southern Missouri, bringing moderate to heavy snowfall for Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, and maybe even Illinois. By that point, this eventually becomes a massive Ohio Valley snowstorm on this model, although it is very far out. But this would be interesting as a 981 millibar low pressure center here, bringing extremely heavy snowfall for Illinois, Indiana, and Michigan. It has been years since we've seen a storm of this track, this type of a storm, and we're kind of due for one like this, and it's super interesting to see, and I honestly hope something like this happens because it would be super interesting to forecast, and a lot of folks up there have been waiting for some snowfall for years. Confidence tab today, we're at a 3 out of 6. We've seen the models flip-flop like I've mentioned on a lot of these storms, and that's why my confidence is lowering, because I know at this point that they could just totally change their minds. Anyway, no comment of the day because I forgot to ask yesterday. I know that's my fault. I'm sorry, guys, but for today's patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our platinum patrons, Bill Crates, James Wade, Dovin Nagel, Larry LePan, Mandy Birchfield, and Patrick Strickland as well. I would also like to thank our diamond patrons, Bill Roberts, Marcus Connolly, Noah Harley, Michael Kudalessa, Catbite, Charles Tennant, Cindy Klein, Alan Goodmaben, Cindy Klein, Bill Dallas, Jerry's, John Calisi, Dwight Phelan, Stephen Cornethal, and Thomas D. Barr as well. I would also like to thank our channel members, Catbite, Stephen Fan, and Jeremy Cox also. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more weather-related content. I will see you guys in the next video.